the reason why we started an SEO business, normally when we think about it, it's because it's when a hobby turns into a business. And I'm sure that most of you guys have experienced that. That's actually how my SEO business started back in the day. It was sort of a hobby that turned into a business, and I needed to do it for my own offline businesses. So the first thing I like to tell people when they're looking at starting an SEO business is really they got to look back on their own experiences, right? Because we all have to rely on our own experiences. So really the question is, what are your experiences? What are you going to rely on? I mean, a little bit of background about myself. I was I went to, I was in the United States Marine Corps. I went to Fordham University. I was a police officer, and each one of those time periods of my life actually gave me different experiences of things that I've now brought to the table. I went to business school at Fordham, right, and I learned absolutely nothing. Not a knock towards Fordham, but I'll be honest with you, I learned that college is expensive, and I really got absolutely nothing out of school really at all. The best thing I got was
I dropped out, so.
which honest, right, exactly. Jake actually went for 2 years and then said, the hell with this, I'm out of here. I think the best thing that I got out of it was one teacher that said, work on your resume. It's the best thing that you could possibly do. And that was about all I got out of my college experience. However, my Marine Corps experience, I got quite a bit out of, and I didn't quite make that jump and figure out that those experiences crossed right over to the business world. I had a drill instructor that I'll never forget. Actually, I'll never forget all of them, but I had one drill instructor that explained to us very simply, it's much easier to die than it is to survive. He's like, it's pretty easy just to roll over and close your eyes and say, screw it, I'm done, than it is to kind of push on when you've either had a failure in life or if you're hurt or whatever the case may be. So very interesting, I also learned the whole, adapt, overcome, improvise. I mean, one of the expressions from the Marine Corps that kind of stayed with me all along and that really stays with business is those three words.
Yeah. If you're by day a grocery cart bagger or something, and you're by night trying to become this SEO guru, your experiences from your day job actually do translate over to your night job. Look at the management of the company you're working for. Look at how everything's being structured and start replicating it. Everything that you do, everything that you experience in life can come into play in your business if you put it in the right frame and the right mindset. So no experience is wasted experience, which is what I think Andrew's trying to say. Even though college didn't teach you anything.
It taught me absolutely nothing, but I can tell you that life experience actually taught me a hell of a lot more. Like I said, my experience as a police officer, right? I used to have guys that were talking about retiring, and they were like, dude, I don't want to go into sales. And I explained to them, listen, guys, you do sales every single day. And most of them looked at me with a really confused expression on their face. I'm like, listen, we show up to a domestic call at 2 o'clock in the morning. Somebody's absolutely, drunk off their ass or high out of their mind. And we explain to them that the best scenario for them is to leave their own house and go somewhere else for the night. And they say, yeah, okay, and they do it. Or, listen, drop the knife. Or I'm going to shoot you. It's that simple. It's a sale, and it's a really tough sale, believe it or not, under really, really bad conditions. But it's a sale. I turned around to those guys and said, now what if you tried to sell somebody, if you tried to sell somebody something that they actually wanted? I go, think about how much easier it would be, right? So anyway, that's sort of it. We were also talking about, like, if you work in a warehouse, well, how they have things set up systematically in a warehouse. That's an experience that you can now bring to your business about systemizing your business. But with that said, we're gonna continue to move on.
Oh, gotta click inside here.
Oh, there we go.
Good.
All right, so you decided that you wanted to start an SEO business. And understanding that taking that first step is always the hardest. It's the same thing with anything. If you decide that you want to do anything, regardless of what business it is, whether it's SEO or anything, it's actually taking that first step to say, I'm going to be committed to this and I'm going to move on. It's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing in the world to do, to say, listen, I'm going to leave a job that's very comfortable for me and is bringing me in a paycheck every week, every bi-weekly or monthly or whatever the case may be, to say, I'm going to try and survive on my own here. It's probably one of the hardest steps in the world. So taking that first step is always the hardest.
Yep. All right. Going over to the next one.
All right. So Questions you might want to ask yourself. Why do I want to start an SEO business? This is the first question you have to ask yourself. And with that being said, if the answer is I like to do SEO, but I don't want to speak to anyone, then I have 3 words for you. Jake has the same 3 words for you. Okay, it's called Indeed.com, Monster.com, CareerBuilder.com.
Who thought it was going to be go fuck yourself?
Go to one of those sites, and I'm sure that there's an SEO company that is actually going to hire you, or you could potentially apply for a job. But if you don't want to speak to somebody, or you want to continue to go out and buy all these products that say, hey, you never have to speak to anybody, just put this thing up there and people are going to click on it and that's it, man. You're going to have a 6-figure SEO business running. You're not, okay? Like I said, the 3 words, Indeed, Monster, Career Builder. Go get yourself a job. You don't want to start an SEO company, okay? And there are certain things that you have to be willing to do in order to start an SEO company, okay? Once again, if you don't want to speak to anybody, you don't want to be an SEO company owner.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, this makes me laugh when I see all these plugins that are like, yo, you don't need to speak to anybody. Just give me $400 and I'm going to guarantee you get these leads without ever opening your mouth or calling someone. Like, no, that's how these businesses work. You go and you get clients and you run your business.
Yeah, and Scott actually brought up a good point. Those 3 other words could have been get a job, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, basically spot on. So
absolutely.
With that being said, if you don't want to talk to somebody, then just shut off the webinar and head over to Indeed, Monster. We probably should have made them clickable. All right? But if your answer is money, then let's move forward, okay? If you have decided that you want to get into SEO because you want to make money, well, any business that you want to get into, it should be about you want to make money. If it's not about you want to make money, now there could be a list of other things, other reasons why you want to do it. But if making money is not towards the top of your list, then once again, you're in the mind frame. You're in the wrong mind frame. It has to be making money. Making money is first priority, okay? So we're going to just jump into the 10 steps. We literally have 10 steps of how to run your SEO business. If you don't, there are definitely more, like each step could definitely be pulled out a little bit further, but we do have a limited amount of time. And if there's any specific question that anybody has about any of the specific steps,
we're going to take those at the end.
We will definitely take those at the end, and we also ask you to throw it into the forum as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, for those people that, we can get a discussion about things, okay? So step 1 is protection, all right? You got to protect yourself, all right? Frank, stop. We're talking about incorporating your business, an LLC, all that legal crap, okay? You want to make sure that you take the responsibility off of you personally and the personal liability away from yourself and actually push it into a corporation. If things go sour, let the corporation take the brunt of it. Let the LLC take the brunt of it. Okay? Unfortunately, setting up an LLC or incorporating a business, it costs some money. All right, it definitely does. I think incorporating in New York, about $600 thereabouts.
Yeah, it's cheaper to incorporate in Delaware.
Yeah, there are different tax implications in Delaware, and I think there's a couple of maybe Nevada as well. There's other tax implications, but once again,
New Mexico,
Wyoming.
Yep.
There are different states that may be a little bit cheaper, maybe a little bit easier as far as the tax burdens on yourself. I know that we're in New York, and New York just is freaking hammers. They really don't like new business. They sure as hell don't like small business,
So make an operating agreement. This is important. If you're starting a business by yourself, you don't really need one, but you're going to sign a contract with yourself. I'm going to pay myself X amount.
Right.
Or no. If you're starting a business between more than one person though, or if you're starting a business between more than one person, doesn't matter if it's a friend, family member, coworker.
And almost more importantly, if it's a friend, family, coworker,
You should have an operating agreement which sets out clearly from the get-go, this is your responsibilities, this is my responsibilities. In return for this, the company is going to give you this percentage or this equity or this voting right. And that way you have a clear starting point from the very beginning. And if things start to get shaky or muddled down the line, you have an actual contract to go back to and set things straight instead of he said, she said, blah, 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 and next thing you know, you're in small claims court.
Listen, we understand. We've all been there. At least everybody here in this room has been there.
Yep.
So, like I said, creating an operating agreement, a clear operating agreement, and you can actually go online and actually find an operating agreement and just kind of twist it, and tweak it the way that you need to.
And like you were saying, friendship doesn't preclude an agreement. In fact, it should necessitate it even more so.
Yep. You know, you don't want a friend turning around and say, hey, listen, you know what, but I've got an issue and, you know, so I need to do this. And, you know, it just really, it kind of defines the boundary lines a lot better.
Absolutely.
So moving on. Step 2. Okay, this is the planning phase. And I don't care, even if you own an SEO business right now, you sometimes need to go back to your planning phase, all right? The first thing you got to lay out is, what are your goals, okay? And that could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but usually for Jake and myself, our goals is, how do we maximize the amount of money that we can make with this business venture that we're going to have moving forward, okay? What are our short-term goals? What are we looking to make on a short term? Maybe we're not looking to make any money on the short term. Maybe our goal is a little long term, you know? Maybe the goal for you is, I want to make $100,000 doing SEO. Maybe the goal is, I want to do 1 million within the first year. I want to do, you know, it could be a number. It could be, I want to have
this many clients.
I want to have 2,000 signups. You know, your goal is all specific to you. Okay, yep. And you know, a goal isn't specifically a number, but oftentimes the number tends to jump in there.
It's a tangible, almost like a tangible finish line. What you have to do is set up a ton of finish lines over the series of formulating your business, and you have to aim for those finish lines. And once you reach the first one, you got to aim for the second one and the third one. You can't have one centralized starting point and 50 goals around you and not know which way to run, because you can only run one direction at a time. You can't run you can't run like a ripple. You only have one set of focus. You have 24 hours in a day. Maybe you have your own job on the side, or you're working for somebody else. You have to set up goals. You have to set up checkpoints for yourself. So step 2, or part of step 2, is asking yourself, what is your offer? And Andrew, do you want to take that?
Sure. Okay, so what is your offer? There are so many different types of SEO businesses. You know, for instance, do you want to just do you want to provide services to other SEOs? Are you going to go out and do client-based businesses? Are you going to do, you know, what falls under SEO? Do you want to do online reputation management? Do you want to do, what is your offer? Okay. You know, when I first started doing SEO, my offer was everything. I put everything out on the table. It was like, I'm willing to do whatever you people need me to do because I want to make some money.
Semhor.
Yeah.
Semhor.
That's exactly what it was. You know, and we realized by defining down what our actual offer was, it made it much more enticing, and it made it a lot easier for us to be able to control, be able to, create a system around it, which we'll get into, but also, you know, this is what we do. This is what we specialize in. Period. The end. You know, there are other people that specialize in other things. I don't want to be a PR company. You know, we've run into that before where, you know, we were replaced by a PR company. They do everything, and they did everything horribly, you know. We weren't looking to do that, but we came up with a very defined offer, okay? We only offer 3 things to our end user clients. We'll get into that as well.
There's upsells, of course, but
absolutely. So the biggest thing is, right, like SEO, you know, you say, oh, okay, I want to be an SEO. It's like, I want to go out and I want to be a lawyer, right? I mean, the market is almost saturated. When I first started in SEO, it was like almost unheard of. Nobody even knew what SEO was. Now SEO is more of a household name, you know, and people understand what it is. Business owners definitely understand what it is. The problem is that every Tom, Dick, and Harry says, hey, I'm an SEO guy. You know, this is what I do. And they get barraged with these emails all day long, whether it's from, you know, outsourced, you know, an offshore company saying, oh, you know, we can get you to the top of Google. They get barraged. These business owners get barraged all day long. So you really need to figure out what your positioning is, right? What makes you better than the next guy? What makes you stand out versus those 10 other emails he's getting today based on, you know, what your offering is?
And it could either be, you know, the second question there, what is your offer? You could be offering something different that makes you better, or you could be performing it better. But those are really the only 2 alternatives. You're either thinking outside the box or you're standing on top of the box.
Right.
So,
you know, once again, how is your offer different? Now, Jake and I, we've been pretty lucky. We've had some meetings with some pretty high-hitting companies. A lot of them are clients of ours now, but But a lot of the clients that the potential clients that we went into, one of the biggest responses after we gave them what our offer was, and we just basically said, look, this is what we do. One of the biggest responses was, wow, I've never seen anybody offer anything like this before. Wow, this is something very different. That's a response that we love to get back, because we know that, that makes us cutting edge. It differentiates us from everybody else out there. It's not just how are we better than the next guy, because better than the next guy could be that, we have a bigger team, we work harder, we work 18-hour, 19-hour days. He does, 5-minute abs, we have 4-minute abs, or whatever the case may be. It's not just how are we better than the next guy, it's how are we completely different than an offer, because that will get their attention right off the bat if our offer is completely different. All right? Identifying what our target market is. Who are we looking to go after? And oftentimes what we do is, we'll look at one segment of a market, and I'm talking about like a subsector, segregation of a market, and we'll actually hit that sub-niche pretty hard until we move on to the next one, because we know that we're going to tailor everything that we do to that sub-niche. When we go in and we talk into a client, we have to know enough about that sub-niche to be able to, be at least somewhat intelligent, intelligent in reference to that subject, okay? So, but identifying what our target market is, right? Our target market for SemeEasy.com, it's other SEO guys.
Yep.
Okay? When we go out to our clients, it's something completely different. And each thing has a different target market, but we needed to identify what that exact target market is. If you want to specifically go after and be the guy for real estate, SEO, go ahead and do that. You want to be specifically the guy to do, and go ahead and do that. Doesn't mean that you can't expand upon that later on and be also the expert for, I don't know, give me another, mortgages or whatever else, okay? It doesn't matter.
But if you don't even have your foot in the door, you don't want to start going, okay, I'm like 25% the way through with this mortgage niche, and now I'm going to jump over to the lawyers because I haven't really gotten any bites yet. Keep working on the niche that you already started on. Stay focused. That's a huge problem that both Andrew and myself see all the time, is that people just jump ship before they even give it a chance,
Absolutely. Okay, do you have product market fit? Now, a lot of people are going to say, what the hell is product market fit? And it's not a term that I came up with. If your product, if your service does not fit the need to the people that you are targeting, then you don't have product market fit. It's going to be awfully hard to close any customers if your product doesn't fit the issues that they're having, okay? If, I'm trying to go and sell the company SEO, but what they're looking for is somebody to build an app for them, well, I don't have product market fit. It's kind of a dead issue, okay? If I'm going to try and target a client that only does window washing within a 3-town radius from me, and what my product is I'm going to bring in a landlord site where I'm going to blanket the entire country, I don't have product market fit. Okay, it's not the product that I'm bringing to the table doesn't fit their needs. I'll never be able to sell it. Period. The end. So you have to make sure that whatever you're bringing to the table, whatever services or technology you're bringing to the table, has product market fit, or it's just a waste of time and a waste of effort. So step two continued. What's your pricing? And Jake and I, we've discussed this a couple of times. Whatever we think it's going to take to get a client to rank, we double or we triple it. And Jake, tell them why.
It's extremely simple, Say we budget off 5 hours a week to work on one client, and that client winds up taking 7.5 hours, but I have 5 clients I need to work on, and I don't have that extra 2.5 hours to spare because I only quoted them at 5 hours. I didn't give myself any buffer room, or God forbid I'm not able to do my job within the 5 hours that I think, and I need an extra 2 hours or 3 hours or maybe an extra 10 hours. It gives you a nice bit of breathing room. It's like when I go, hey guys, I'm going to have I'm going to have the update available for you on Monday. It's not because I'm waiting until Sunday night to start coding. It's because I think it's going to take me, 24 hours, and now it's Thursday, so I think I'll probably have it done on Friday, but I want to give myself an extra 2 days to go through and not only beta test, but if I can't get it done on Friday, then I still have Saturday to do it. And if it's not done on Saturday, then I still have Sunday to do it. The same exact thing. You guys are working on websites, you're working online. You got to give yourself a little bit of breathing room. Otherwise,
not only that, but you have a server issue. You have
there's so many variables
things
that are out of your control. Say you got to transfer somebody's website and you're waiting for DNS propagation. That's 24 hours right there that you got to wait. It's
now, granted, you could be doing other things during that time period, but the other advantage of whatever your pricing is, we oftentimes question ourselves and say, hey, listen, is the pricing too high? I just want the customer to say yes because I want to get the customer. So by doubling or tripling what you think is a fair price, it's one of those perception is reality. Believe it or not, let's go back to my college for a second, right? So I went to Fordham University, okay? And Fordham, when I went there, was about $25,000 a year. Fordham had a hard time, actually. They were living on a past reputation. They couldn't get more students through the door. They brought in a marketing company, which was the funniest thing in the entire world. And the marketing company said, yep, what you need to do is you need to raise your price from $25,000 to $40,000, and then we're going to jump it to $60,000. Now they have a waiting list. Yep. It's the same education, same school.
Probably the same professors, too. They're all tenured.
Right, absolutely. So, it just goes to show you that, people also get, they believe that they get what they pay for, okay? If you provide a superior service, then you should charge them as though it's a superior service, period, the end, okay? So, like I said, what's your pricing? Kind of like a two-pronged approach there. All right, your business plan. Now, business plan is the one word, well, two words, right, that Jake and I absolutely hate. We hate a business plan because a business plan is sort of like, a lot of people think of a business plan as a GPS, right? So I plug in my location and it tells me the exact route that I need to get there.
Or some people think of it as like the 10 commandments for your business. Like these are the set in stone. These are the 10 things that we do or we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit.
Our business plan will change sometimes on a daily basis. I mean, the end route is basically the same. Like we have a pretty good idea, but we've realized that, okay, well, we thought we were going to go right, but we need to go left here. We decided that we need to jump over this step completely because it's just not relevant at this point. And maybe we'll come back to it. Maybe we'll move that step forward. Maybe we'll just cut it out altogether. But that business plan needs to constantly grow with you. Now, we always do suggest to write your business plan down. And it doesn't need to be like a business plan that you're going out to a venture capital company and saying, here, this is my business plan. But your business plan needs to be in writing so you actually can visualize it. And as it changes, you update it a little bit. I mean, a business plan could be, it should be a one-page document, really. A one-page, this is what it is, and not into the nitty-gritty, but it's sort of like hitting the main points and some sort of direction on how you're going to get there.
Exactly. And the main idea behind it all, or not really the main idea, this will work with your business when you're starting your own SEO business. This isn't going to work across all industries. If you're starting like a Costco, obviously you need a business plan. But when you're starting your own small SEO company or you're going off and doing your own independent venture, you don't need a 10-page document with everything outlined and stepped out for you because you're doing a lot of this stuff is fly-by-wire anyway,
Right, absolutely. But as long as you have a vision and a plan of how you think you're going to get to where you need to go,
you're set.
You are set. But understand that thing gets changed all the time, all right? So here are other questions, right? So, like, we have a great idea, but, like, how are we going to get paid, right? Which is one step that, believe it or not, with one of the ventures that we move forward, we actually didn't think about how we're going to get paid, right? So how are we going to do our invoicing? Are we going to do, just a monthly recurring invoice? Are we going to just do, are we going to send it out through QuickBooks? How are we going to do our invoicing, okay? It's all of these things go into your plan, okay? What payments are you going to accept? You're going to accept
ACC.
Look at that. Whatever. By carrier pigeon. That's exactly how we're going to get paid. So it's, are we going to do by PayPal? Well, PayPal doesn't really look very, professional to a lot of the corporations that we would deal with.
So are you going to get your own merchant account?
Right. So are we going to get credit card processing? Are we going to get, are we going to just accept checks? whatever. It's all something, it's all something that needs to be thought out.
Before you could even think about your clients. That's what we're going over right here in the plan, is everything that you need to think about before you even get close to the client phase.
Right. Google actually got their check. I think they spelled the name on the check wrong, and that's how they became Google. There was like an urban legend about that, that it was supposed to be Goggel, and the person, the venture capitalist, wrote down Google. They couldn't cash the check. There was
the name.
Yeah, there was a story about that. But all right. So, what are your resources? Okay. So this is actually a pretty important phase, right? If you're going to go out and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to build out all of these sites for my clients. Well, do you have a server? Okay. Do you have the plugins that you need? Like, do you have double agent? Do you have the resources to be able to get this thing, as index assault installed on the site that that you can deliver within the period of time that you're telling your client you can deliver? If you're going to be, running mass amount of links at something, are you going to go into, are you going to be going into, using GSA and stuff like that? I mean, you just got to make sure that whatever resources you're going to need, you have available to you. Okay. So, once again, it all depends on what you're planning on doing to make sure that you have those resources available to you and that you can afford those resources that you're going to need. Okay. Real quick, somebody had asked, so you guys suggesting that the rank and rent model is not good for, is not a good one for an SEO business? No, not at all. We're going to get into that. Because what you guys are talking about are models that go way beyond rent. Absolutely. We're going on running an SEO business.
Yep.
Now, the rank and rent model, it's one model of an SEO business that you can run.
You need to diversify your revenue streams. Otherwise, you got a little tiny river and you're trying to get to a flood,
So yeah, we're going to get into the rank and rent model because it's actually a model that we use on a daily basis. But once again, the purpose of this was to actually go over running an SEO business, and an SEO business entails, running link services for other SEOs, running client-based SEO, and client-based SEO really is a rent and a rank and rent model in some respects.
Absolutely.
All right, it could be affiliates, it could be AdSense, it could be a mix and a mesh of all of those things. All right, but what we're trying to go over is just the steps of, you want to make money online. Well, these are some of the things you better be thinking about. Okay. So step 3, nail it down. Now, this is really where the one of the biggest things that I see that I'm almost floored every time I read it, right?
You are. I get angry. I get angry.
All right, so what happens is, I'll go on a lot of forums and say, wow, man, I just got my first check from this customer. Well, now, what do I do? And I'm like, holy crap. Wow, So you got to know that you can provide the service that you're offering, whatever that service may be. Now, the rank and rent model works great because you know that you already know that you can provide that service. You're showing it to the customer before they even sign on board, okay? So that is one of the things that we use on a daily basis to break down all of those barriers.
Yep.
But if you can't provide the service that you're offering, well, then you should not even be thinking about starting an SEO company right now. Or I should take that back. You can think about starting an SEO company. You really got to nail down about what your offer is.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if you can't provide that service for what you're offering, well, you're not going to be in business very long. You're probably going to have some litigation, so hopefully you created an LLC. But you're going to be in and out of this business in no time at all. I mean, that's why we love the algorithmic updates. It kind of shakes the trees, and a lot of SEOs fall out, and whoever winds up staying in the game, it works out really well for.
Yep. And this is not something that's foreign to me. Probably not something that's foreign to you guys, but I've seen it across multiple fields, not only SEO. You guys probably don't know, I'm a moderator over on Reddit.com for the Our WordPress thread, or the Our WordPress subreddit, and I see at least weekly we get a post in there that we have to filter out saying, "Hey, I just got my first check for $500. How do I create this website now?" Somebody who hasn't even installed WordPress once, but probably has little to no graphic design experience, little to no coding experience, but they've already taken money from a client. They've gone out, they've gotten a client, which very good for them, congratulations, but they don't have the capacity, the experience, the knowledge, the know-how to even get started to deliver on the goals that their client had paid for. So if you don't have the experience, you don't have the time, you don't have the knowledge, you can't even get the client in good faith in the first place because you don't know if you could deliver. And it's that simple.
And the exception to that is if you know you have somebody that you can outsource it to, that's fine. You know, now you know that, okay, listen, I can't provide the service, but I know that this guy can provide the service. I have a relationship set up with them. I know that they can perform the service, and all I have to do is mark it up, and that's fine. You can do that as well. But if you can't, at the end of the day, if you can't get them that service that you're offering them, then you're worse than a snake oil salesman. You're a sleaze.
Yeah.
You know, you're an actual
You can't
cheat.
deliver on your expendables, then you're worth your weight in salt, pretty much.
All right, so nailing it down, you got to be able to know that you can do it on a rinse and repeat basis. All right, so now we're going to start to get into some of the more intricacies that I think a lot of people were really looking for. Okay, I know that people aren't like, wow, I want to get an LLC. That's a lightning bolt of information there, man. But it's important. Okay, so in step 4, we're going to be talking about clients. Okay. You have to land your first few clients. And how? Okay? Well, you got to think outside the box a little bit. And I know that somebody's going to say, wow, think outside the box. That gets me clients. It brings them running through the door. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it. Okay? My story is a little bit different. I'm going to tell you about how I've coached other people to do it. So my first experience was that I was doing SEO for myself. And then what happened was I had friends of mine that had seen what I did because I was sharing it with them. I was excited. I wanted to talk to everybody about and their mother about what I was doing. Oh, my God, look, I was able to rank this. I was able to rank this. And they basically said, hey, can you do the same for me? Can you do the same for my friend? Could you do, you know? So that was how I got my first few clients, okay? I wasn't trying to sell them. I wasn't even thinking about doing SEO for anybody other than myself. It wasn't even like a thought that came into my head until somebody, approached me and were like, hey, man, you got to do this for me. And like I have like 4 friends that, yeah, they're waiting in the wings as well. They want you to do it for them.
That's when you had the cha-ching moment.
Oh, my, that was actually, I'm like, well, shit, I want to make money. I want to make money. I don't, ranking websites is just a means of getting me money.
At that point, you already knew that you could do it, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But since then, when I wanted to grow my business, what I did was I taught, all right? And, yeah, you have to speak to people, okay? Speaking to people is not as tough as you think it is, okay? You guys speak to one another all day long on chat, okay? You can sit down and have a conversation with somebody at a bar and talk to them about SEO, okay? That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about, wow, we got to do a grandiose, gigantic, like I said, I taught at the SUNY schools. I wrote the first syllabus for SEO, but that's not what we're talking about. We're actually talking about teaching people how to do SEO. And there are lots of people out there that they kind of know what it is. They're not 100% sure. And trust me, you are an expert compared to these people. All right. You know this stuff inside and out. And a lot of times the biggest problem with teaching is that we'll teach at such a high level thinking that everybody's on board with us and then realize that people aren't on board with us. So we've had to learn to like kind of bring it down a whole lot of notches. Jake especially, because he's very technical and he likes to get into it. And there are people that are as technical and they're following along. And there's some people like,
they're just watching my mouth.
You lost me at Seme, So, that's the biggest, but the biggest thing is teaching, okay? And I'll explain to you what I mean by teaching. Organizations are always looking for free speakers, okay? And, for instance, we've done this quite a bit, but actually really not to get new clients, but it was really sort of like trying to give back to the community a little bit. We had actually gone to a bunch of the different Chamber of Commerces around us, and we actually went in and, I approached the head of the chamber and said, hey, listen, you know what? Would you guys like me to come in, give a 20-minute presentation about what your local business owners can be doing to improve their websites today? I'm going to give them a whole list of things that they can do themselves for their own websites. And, at the very end, I'm going to hand out my card and tell them if any of them have a question or if they want to talk more about this, they can contact me. But it's not going to be a 20-minute pitch session about my business. I know that that's not what you're looking for. I'm going to teach them things that they can do immediately.
Yeah, okay? And you know full and well that these business owners don't have the time or faith in themselves to go and complete these tasks or these goals.
Right.
But you're giving them the information that they would need if they were to do it themselves. And now that they trust that and you're in the know, you could direct this, they're going to go and default back down to you.
the teaching equals trust, okay? Even with my offline businesses, well, they're sort of offline, but with my other, brick and mortar businesses, we teach people every single day. And as soon as we teach them, we know that they're ours. The reason we know that they're ours is because the lingo that we use and everything else now they become familiar with, because the first time that they heard it through us, okay? So when we refer to something, when we refer to an organic traffic funnel, they understand what the hell we're talking about. If they went to another SEO and say, oh, you guys do organic traffic funnels, they're like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And they'll keep coming back to the person that they feel comfortable with, who kind of taught them the stuff first, all right? But we keep all of this training really, really, really simple. And we do the training for multitudes of reasons. A, it's to build trust. B, it's for us to actually teach our clients enough so that they understand what we're doing enough, so they're not thinking that they're spending their money on hocus pocus, okay? I'm going to get into what happens at our first meeting with clients, but like I said, reverting back to this, organizations are always looking for free speakers. You can always find yourself a free place to talk as long as you can keep it limited to 20 minutes, thereabouts. One of the things that people say all the time to kind of grow their business is that, well,
do the first client for free, and then he'll give me a testimonial, and I'll put it on my site.
Anyone can find free work, okay? And just don't do it. I hear more people talk about, well, I had somebody approach me, and they say, well, if I'm able to get them to rank for this, then, if I'm able to get them to rank for a certain keyword, then they'll start paying me. Well, that would be like saying to a restaurant owner, let me come in, let me sit down, let me drink your wine, let me eat your food. And you know what? If I really like it, I'll leave some money on the table.
It's even worse. It's like if I don't get the shits, then then I'll pay you.
So like I said, you're a professional. And there's a big difference between helping somebody out and doing free work, and we're going to get into that as well. But I'm going to go back to this slide here for a quick second. Going out and giving a free speech is not doing free work.
No.
Okay, it's a big difference. Giving the free speech and going out there and teaching people, that's marketing. Okay, that's hardcore marketing. That's like almost guerrilla marketing. Okay, this slide, which is, hey, listen, you know what? If you rank me for this, the conditions attached, and then you're gonna get them ranked for something, and they're gonna say, oh, it really didn't bring me a whole lot of traffic, so you got to get me ranked for this. Okay, there's too many what ifs. I don't do it. I don't do any free work.
You devalue yourself. As soon as you say yes, or you even entertain the thought, you've already devalued yourself. You've told this person now, I don't have faith in my capacity to fulfill these promises, so I'm going to take the gamble, do my very best, and hope to get paid at the end. Right. And that's not what you're trying to set yourself up.
I don't know of any other business that would do it this way. There are certain models that maybe some of this would work. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I would say that 99% of the business models out there don't do work for free and hope to get paid on the back end. Okay, maybe a lawyer working on contingent, maybe. But outside of that, but they're still going to hammer you for office costs and everything else on top of it. Okay, so step 5 being the pitch. Everybody's afraid of the pitch. We don't pitch. No. It's pretty simple. We just don't pitch. But, we do have to go in there, and sometimes we do have to, do a face-to-face with the client, all right? We keep it extremely simple, all right? Like, for instance, Seme. We offer 3 services or a combination of the 3. If they don't want all 3 and they want 2, we only offer 3 services. That's it. Kiss the client. Frank, I know that you're going to jump over the table and shove your tongue down their throat, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about keeping it simple, stupid, okay? Which was another big Marine Corps expression, and, it's a matter of keeping it really, really simple. Listen, this is what we offer. We know that by using these 3, by us deploying these 3 services, towards your website, you're going to be successful. You're going to rank, okay? You're going to get exposure that you don't have today.
Yep, and now Chris is saying, that's a pitch. Well, yeah, it's a pitch, but it's all about how you frame it.
Yeah, because let me jump in there, okay? we don't tell them a package that they're going to be receiving, which is about 90% of the companies do. Okay, we tell them what type of exposure they're going to receive. They want to basically know, well, what are you guys doing? Okay, what are you guys going to do for us? Okay, this is not a hard pitch. All right, it's not at all. Look, we've got 3 services. This is what we do. Okay, I offer it. Great. Thanks, Frank. We don't like potential clients to be impressed, okay? We want them to be speechless by the time we walk out, all right? And I'm going to explain to you basically how we do that, all right? We don't pitch, we teach, okay? Yes, we have to explain to them what the services are that we offer, okay? But we're not pitching them. We're not saying, listen, you know what?
This is the best.
This is the company. We're better than these guys. We're better than these guys. You know, you have to use our services. Otherwise, you know, you're dead in the water, okay? We don't. We actually go in and we teach. We even teach when we're having a proposal meeting for a client, okay? Teaching is what, I mean, it's on every aspect of our business, okay? We teach people that we're looking to bring in as clients. Then once we have a potential client, we sit down and we teach them again. Yeah, and we don't actually care if they know it or if they don't know it. We actually teach it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what have we been doing for the past half hour here?
We've been trying to teach.
And how many people have dropped out of the webinar?
None. Actually, we've added more. I mean, right now we're over 100 participants for half an hour, guys. I mean, teaching works. Learning is fundamental. Thank you, Frank. You know, basically, we teach them how Google works. I'm going to provide you those slides right here. Okay. What we actually do is we'll sit down with the client and we'll actually show them. And actually, I'm going to take these slides and I'm going to make them available to everybody on the site, where they can take them and put their own logos on them or whatever else, move them around, make them nicer, do whatever they want to do.
If you want to save it right now, push the print screen button and open your favorite photo.
Yeah, but I'll give it to you. We'll give it to them. I'll give it to them. I'll give it to you guys in PowerPoint, so this way you guys can manipulate it a lot easier. Okay, but we sit down with every client and we explain to them the certain things that we know that they need to understand, okay? Like, for instance, the parts of the search engine, how there are spiders, bots, and crawlers, how there's an index, all right? How there's a query box. There's only 5 parts of Google, okay, that we explain to them. We go, there's a query box. That's where you type in your keywords, okay? It goes back to the index, all right? Spiders, bots, and crawlers are going out there throughout the entire web, and they're just picking up as much information as they can and feeding that index. Okay, you're not actually searching the internet when you type into the query box. You're actually searching Google's database. All right, it runs through an algorithm and then it brings you back to a search engine result page. We show them what each one of those are. Okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised how many clients
have no clue what this is.
Yeah, thought that Google was a real-time algorithm and it goes and searches the entire freaking web every time you type something into the box.
All right. So the reason why we do this is when they turn around and say, "Oh, you know what? I hired you yesterday. What's going on?" We explain to them, "Well, listen. We explained to you that Google is searching their database, okay? So we got to get that information into Google's database to begin with, okay? The reason why you were number 1 today and you might be number 2, you know, tomorrow is because there's algorithmic changes that we need to adapt to as well, okay? That search engine result page, we explained to them that, hey, look, there are 10 results on the page. You've got to be in the top, you know, in the top 3, okay? We explained that, you know, if you're on page 2, you're dead. Okay, we explain what the query box is and how the query box works. All right. Once they have a basic common core understanding, they then appreciate what the heck we're doing, and more importantly, we build that trust with them that they're like, these people do know what the hell they're doing. They just taught me all of this stuff. Okay. We explain to them that authority plus relevancy equals rankings, and Jake actually came up with a really good algorithm right before that, right?
Yeah. Well, wait, which one?
You're talking about the teaching.
Oh.
Well, it was, you know, teaching plus trust equals clients.
Yeah.
It is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And, you know, once again, it all comes down to the more that you can teach a prospective client, the less you actually have to try and pitch them, okay? This is what a first meeting looks like with us, all right? We actually go into a meeting and we don't, like when I was saying that we don't pitch, we tell them what our services are. We don't think that that's a pitch. Okay, I really don't believe that that's a pitch. We teach them exactly what we think they need to know before we can move forward. And we explain to them that the purpose of this meeting is to see if they're the right fit for us. You know, that we're the prize and that there are other businesses out there, and actually there are millions of other businesses out there, but there's only one of us. All right, so by actually taking that whole concept for that first meeting and that first interaction and explaining to them that, we need them to go through a little bit of training and we need to get a little bit of feedback from them to find out if we're a right fit. And a lot of times they want to get into the analytical aspects. Well, what about this and what about that? And we say, well, listen, the first meeting is really all about finding out whether we really kind of want to work with you, okay? It's really not arrogant. It's really putting yourself in the driver's seat is what this is doing, okay? We tell every single client almost the same exact thing, okay? Listen, we want to talk to you. We want to find out if this is a right fit. And trust me, it's not that every client comes through the door and we think that they're the right fit. There have been many clients that we've turned around and said, yeah, listen, we appreciate it. Sounds like what you're doing is wonderful. We're not interested.
Just can't help you.
We actually had a client recently that really wanted, they literally had a bundle of money. They were like, look, we want to throw it at you, okay? And we were talking about almost 15 grand a month.
Yeah.
15 grand a month for one particular client, upwards of about 20. We actually looked at what, after we had their initial conversation, we realized that we did want to work with them originally. They asked us to put a proposal together. We didn't do our due diligence. We didn't actually look at their site ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And when we actually went and looked at their site, we realized that the shit was a train wreck.
Yeah.
We actually went back to them and said, listen, with the way that your site stands, we can't work.
Yeah.
We can't work together. We actually had to turn them down.
We offer them consultation services to
we absolutely
to rebuild
did.
Their website.
And what they actually did was they came back to us and said, listen, we didn't tell you guys this, but we're rebuilding our website because we kind of realized that it was a train wreck. So what we did was we put in a proposal to consult with them through the build process, and then said, if it's done properly, then we'll work together. But if it's not done properly, then unfortunately we can't. Well, I can tell you that they're constantly contacting us. It's like they're chasing us at this point.
Yep.
Okay, and it's sort of a fishing game at this point. We got them on the line, but honestly, it would kill everything else that Jake and I are working on right now if we actually jumped into work with that client.
Yep.
It's not that we're playing a mind game with them. We just knew that we couldn't take them on. We actually wanted to, but we just knew that there was absolutely no way. So, all right. In 5 minutes, we explain our entire strategy to them. As I told you, we have 3 things that we offer, 3 services that we offer to our client. We tell them point blank, we're going to use our own networks to rank your main website. All right, we're going to do SEO on your main website. We're going to create all of those like landlord-style websites, those organic traffic funnel websites that grab your keywords plus locations. We're going to funnel all of that traffic to yourself. And then we have a third thing that we offer them that we're not going to discuss. We keep that as our little trade secret, okay? But we offer 3 things to 3 services to our clients. Now, some of them might say, hey, well, listen, you know what? I don't really need the keywords plus the location. I don't need the organic traffic funnels because I'm a local person and this is all I do, which is fine. So we can take that out of the mix. But we only do 3 things, period, the end.
Yep.
All right?
Now, if they come back to us, if a client comes back to us and goes, hey, you guys did a great job, but I got this article in the paper that just came out about me. Is there any way we could knock this down or whatever? Sure, we'll open up ourselves for reputation management, or we'll extend with other services and do upsells and whatnot. But when we're having this first initial consultation, it's these 3 services that we offer. This is what we do. And we're not breaking it down for them. We're not going into, okay, we're going to build you this site with 30,000 posts, and it's going to have 8 tag pages, and each one targets an individual LSI, and then each one of those pages is going to be targeted out to a local SERP, and we're going to build 10 websites, each with now a total of 300,000 pages.
We actually don't get into the technicalities of anything, and because if you do, it starts to give people objections to be able to jump in and say, hey, listen, you know what, well, what about this? What about that? Actually, we had a meeting with a really large company, and actually Jake and I got derailed from that, and actually we learned from that experience. Okay, we got derailed by, let's play smartest guy in the room, and unfortunately,
we fell into that trap.
We did. We fell right into the trap. So, we bring the conversation right back to where it needs to go, which is, all right, listen, you know what? We can have that discussion, once we realize that we're the right fit for one another.
Yep.
But, until we realize that we're the right fit with one another, we really don't need to get into the analytics because right now we're not even sure if we're going to be moving forward. We'd like to move forward. We hope that you guys are the right fit. So let's take this time right now to make sure that we are the right fit. Now, somebody here had a quick question. It says, there have been some steps that you skipped here. Are you going to cover what is actually done, what is done
to actually prospect to get the client? you have to find the client before you have a meeting, right? Well, yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
We did go over that. We most certainly did. Clients, you have to land your few clients. How? Teach. Yes, you have to talk to people. Organizations are always looking for free speakers.
Okay, this is one of the ways that we go about it. Okay, organizations are always looking for free speakers. Actually, there's a slide a little later on that that goes a little bit further into it. We actually moved it around, which I think maybe we should probably move it back for future trainings.
Yeah. Do we have any other ways? Yeah, we'll talk about those.
Okay. Yeah, we actually do have a couple of other ways. Okay, but we find that teaching is probably one of the best ways that we can go about it, and actually it does stem off of the whole teaching philosophy as well.
The nicest thing about the whole going out and teaching, it's an organic lead. You're not going and trying to force somebody. You're not cold calling anybody. You're not sending out random emails. Nobody's opening up their inbox and deciding, hey, I really need to buy this SEO service. And not going to happen.
And also, how much does it cost you? Next to nothing.
You're going out for 20 minutes, doing a 20-minute presentation, so you got to say, it's going to take me 10, 15 minutes to drive there and back. It's going to
cost you a couple of photocopies and your business cards, which is stuff that you should probably almost already have already.
Yeah, you're talking about 5 hours worth of work tops for a 20, 30-minute presentation. You're going to get the exposure of about 30 to 50 local businesses in your area.
And honestly, you've already made it past the gatekeeper, which is gigantic. Because,
you don't need to deal with a secretary.
Because the Chamber of Commerce, those guys don't send their secretaries or the gatekeeper to their meetings. Mm-hmm. They go themselves. Okay, there's we have a business at what do they call it? The RBA. So it's like a business. Association, you know,
regional business association.
And to be honest with you, they're always looking for great stuff for their meetings. They're always looking for workshops. And if you're willing to do it, they're willing to have you.
They might not pay you for talking.
They're not going to pay you to talk. Okay, don't expect that you're going to be like Bill Clinton showing up and getting $100,000 for a speech and maybe a BJ on the side or whatever. You know, and that ain't going to happen. But what is going to happen is that you are going to in fact speak to the decision maker right then and there.
But these talks, these are not work. This is marketing. It's different. This is not client and work. Sure, that's work for your business. Any marketing you do is work for your business, but you do this for free because you're investing in the marketing. But the client comes around, you capture the organic lead.
Let me just catch up to where we're supposed to be.
You don't turn around with the client and go, or the client, if they give you the proposition that, you do the bunch of work and they'll pay you at the end if everything works out, that's what you don't do. But you most certainly extend yourself out there. You do free trainings, you do free sessions, and you get these guys interested in not only what you have to offer, but interested in you as a person yourself.
I have to tell you that we've actually had a lot of clients. They originally were just leads that we had spoken to at a training event. They already had an SEO company. They already had a training, an SEO team, whether it was an outsourced or an in-house SEO team. And they would still come back to me and ask me questions all the time. Hey, listen, you know what? These are what my guys are doing. What do you think? And I would still give them advice. I'd be more than happy to give them advice. And you know what? Eventually, they all turned into clients. Some of them took a little bit longer than others. Some of them, their team had to completely fall apart after an algorithmic update, and they had no faith that their team was going to pull it back together. But by having that trust factor, it actually worked like a charm every single time.
One of our larger clients was actually a client that had dropped us and hired an in-house SEO team. And they kept coming back to Andrew for whatever reason, asking him, are these guys doing it right? And instead of saying,
go ask yourself.
Screw you guys, you fired me, Andrew would, take the time, analyze it, and go, yeah, they're doing this right, or nah, guys, this is really screwed up. And you know what? Gave it 4 months, and we were hired again.
And it wasn't all I didn't go back to him with all negatives. There was certain stuff that his team was doing right, and that's just it. So, like I said, in 5 minutes when we have a meeting, we explain our entire strategy. We give them everything, okay, from a bird's eye perspective, all right. Before we leave our meeting, we show them instant results by the end of the meeting, okay? Yes, we do a little work beforehand. Somebody's actually saying that this Webby would have been better served after members have clients from the rank and rent model. No, not at all, and I'm going to explain to you why.
It says, I think members here are looking for methods of getting clients for their SSL or SLL sites, not running an overall SEO business. This webinar is called Running an SEO Business.
But we're going to explain to you how that model of the SLL sites fall right into this, okay? we show them instant results before we wind up leaving the meeting, okay?
Yep.
And what we do is, and somebody's asking, can this be done live or by the phone? It can be done by either. It doesn't really matter, okay? We like live because we like to be able to see people, but obviously we have clients all over the country that we can't sit down with. But we create a bunch of SLL sites before we even go into the meeting, okay? We create them, we rank them a couple of days before the meeting, 2-3 days before the meeting, or 5 days before the meeting, however much lead time we have, and we actually plug in their site right into the SLL site, okay? Before we even close, we go, look, you know what? Why don't we just do this? Let's just do a quick search, okay? And we kind of throw this in right at the very end, okay? And we go, here, why don't you do a search for whatever they happen to be in plus this city? Stuff that we've already checked ahead of time. We already know is ranking. We go, yeah, okay, you know what? Here, see this result? Why don't you click on it? We actually try and let them do it on their own computer so they don't think it's smoke and mirrors. They click on it. They see their site there. And we go, look, we've already done a lot of the heavy, the heavy lifting here. Now, you can see that you're at number one. If you'd like to stay at number one, well then, let's work out a deal right now. If you're not interested in staying at number one, that's fine. We have other appointments that, that we have, and it's all good, no harm, no foul, but if you have any questions, here's my card. Feel free to give me a call anytime, okay? We use those source landlord sites as one marketing aspect. SERP landlord. The SERP landlord sites, the SLL sites, we use as one tool out of the 3 offerings that we give. But we usually set one of those sites up before we even walk in the door. Listen, we have the server already, so we know that that's part of our resources. Okay, we actually have multiple servers. It costs us $10 for the domain, and we already have the staff working for us. So it really, at the end of the day, it costs us $10 to do it. All right?
Now, Nick's asking, how many SLL sites do we build for each client?
Well, we do one. We do one walking in the door.
We'll do one beforehand. If we have the client signed up, then we follow up with the SERP domination tactic.
Absolutely.
But beforehand, we only need to show them one, and then we show them the results for the pins or whatever, and we can show them how we could achieve SERP domination by repeating this model over for them. But we're sure as hell not going to go and put out all this work and do all this work for a client we don't even have yet.
How many is the SERP domination? We put out. It will all depend. Obviously,
depends on the niche, but
yeah, it really depends on the niche, right? A real easy niche, we know the 10 sites when we take it all. Okay. There are other niches where it may take us 15 or 20 sites, okay, and that's just part of the game. But it gets worked right into the price that we're going to be charging. So, like I said, we use the landlord sites as part of our presentation, okay, and we always squeeze it right in at the end. Oh, you know what? Before let me just show you this, and all of a sudden they see it, and I'll tell you what, they are absolutely floored by what they see. Okay, they are literally left speechless. Like you guys know exactly what we're talking about. If you contacted a client and said, hey, how would you like to be on page 1 of Google? Oh, you already are. Here, do this search, click on the result, and that client's website shows up. That's a pretty hardcore sale without having a hardcore pitch. It's your work, it's your technology that's doing the sale for you.
Yep.
You don't really need to pitch anything at that point. What you actually need, the quote-unquote pitch at that point is, well, either you want it or you kind of don't, but well, let's stay in touch. But in the meantime, I'm going to go to,
your competitor.
Your competitor,
and your second competitor.
And we don't say your competitor. We actually, once again, do a little bit of research first and say, okay, well, you know what, we're gonna leave you, AJ window washer, and we're moving on to, AB window washer. Yep. Okay, or whatever the case may be. That usually closes the deal right there.
AB is not a window washer. Come on.
All right.
Maybe
so
one day.
Now, if that doesn't seal the deal right there, a lot of times we'll get a client that turns around and says, hey, listen, you know what? What I would like to do is put a proposal together for me. Some of them ask for it before the meeting. Some of them ask for it after the meeting. That's why we weren't sure where this slide deck should really fit in, because we get about a half and half on both ends.
Yep.
Usually we like to have a meeting with the client first to find out if they're the right client for us before we go ahead and start creating a proposal for them. Because our proposals do take a lot of work, okay? But we give them everything, okay? If the pitch doesn't close, we knock it out of the park with our proposal, all right? Your proposal should have one section that breaks down everything the company is doing wrong, okay? We explain to them exactly how they can fix it themselves and what it would cost for us to fix it, okay? A lot of people will turn around and say right now, they'll go, oh, dude, that's so stupid. I can't believe, why are you going to tell them how to fix it? And I'm going to tell you why I tell them how to fix it. A, it builds trust. B, it shows that I'm not trying to hardcore pitch them, okay? But C, these people are lazy, okay? Companies want to focus on doing their business. They don't want to focus on doing SEO. They don't want to focus on, now getting on their team and saying, hey, listen, guys, you're screwing this all up, and their team is going to be fighting with them going, no, you're wrong on this, or whatever the case may be. We don't really care at that point. We put it out there. This is what you're doing wrong, okay? This is what you're doing right, but this is how you can fix it, and this is what it's going to cost for us to do it, okay?
Frank goes, plus they could Google that shit. Yeah, they can Google it.
Yeah, they absolutely can.
And Nick's going, because they don't have the time to do it. That's exactly.
Absolutely. So what we do in our proposals is that we give them everything, okay? We lay it all out for them. Once again, we don't get into the technical aspects of everything. On that part of the proposal where the section breaks down everything, we will get into a slight bit more technical things in that section, but the rest of it is kind of boilerplate, okay? Step 7, it's building trust. Now, when we were talking about the pitch, all right, these are other ways that we get clients, okay? You have to get your first bit of clients. You got to get your first handful of clients in order to even survive in the business, right? But once your business gets to a certain point, okay, it's all about you building trust, okay? You got to build trust in order to get those first clients to begin with, but it's really about growing your business, okay? Referrals are the best customers that you can get. We don't do any paid advertising. We don't do any advertising, all right? We get referrals, all right? We get tons of referrals, all right? And referrals are the best customers that you can get because
the pitch has already been explained to them.
Absolutely.
They've already been pitched. They're coming to you.
And the trust flow has already flowed from the person that they already have trust with, and they're flowing that trust right to you, okay? They're vouching for you, all right? So that's the reason why you better make sure in step 3, nail it down. You better make sure that you can deliver what you can. You're probably getting this referral because you delivered what you said you were going to deliver. Okay, you're not going to get a referral
for nothing
if you dropped the ball and you couldn't perform what you told them you were going to perform. Okay, now the great part about referrals are there's a lot of different ways to get the referrals. Okay.
Yeah, you could trust that they'll flow naturally, or you could incentivize your client to produce referrals for you.
Absolutely, and we've done it both ways. We've actually had clients where we've turned around and said, hey, listen, you know what? If you refer 2 more people, if you refer 2 of your friends to us, and let us do their SEO for them. They sign up, we're going to give you a month for free, okay? Now there's something in it for them, okay? So you can set deals with your existing customers to get referrals. Your customers will either recommend you because you produced for them, and that's what actually happened at the very beginning. I wasn't offering anything. They were just like, hey, man, do me a favor, a lot of times, and these guys were pretty stand-up business guys, they turn around and say, do me a favor, just, give them a fair price so I look like a good guy, I want to do future business with them, if you could do the right thing, I'll owe you one. All right? Or they're going to recommend you because they get something out of it, okay? You don't think that affiliate marketers, and obviously you guys know that we're not affiliate marketers, all right? They're not posting and sending out emails. They're not emailing out for different products because
they like them.
or because they think the product is awesome, okay? They're getting something out of it, all right? If you provide a reason for somebody to do something, you have a much better chance of them doing it, okay? You can very easily grow from your first 2 or 3 clients to 10 clients just through referrals, all right? Every single time, as long as you produce, you'll be able to rinse and repeat that method over and over again, okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody had just written in, dude, it clearly says in the email, I found an awesome deal. Are you telling me they're liars? Yeah. My good friend, I love that. That's one of my favorites when I get those emails. My good friend,
we went to elementary school together.
Yeah, we went to different schools together growing up, and, we're really tight, and he came out with a really monster product.
I just happen to know all these internet marketers.
Right, I happen to be friends with all of them. Okay, so moving on. The other thing that you can do, all right, and this works really, really, really well. We actually got a stack of books. It was the Encyclopedia of Associations, I think is the name of the book.
Yep.
All right. We actually bought it on eBay because they were just so expensive. Like in order to buy the set of books, it was like $2,000 or something. But you can actually go to the library. If you have a library card, a lot of libraries will allow you to just log in and actually take a look and you can actually search for the Encyclopedia of Associations, and there's like tons of other reference books like that that gives you, they give you associations, they give you foundations, they give you all sorts of different things. They give you their website, they give you email addresses, they give you phone numbers, addresses, how many people are part of that association, all that sort of stuff.
It's on Kindle for 99 cents.
All right, so regarding that, all right, what we've actually did was, and we did it for actually one of my offline companies. We were going to them and actually marketing to them and trying to sell them a product that they could give out to their membership every month, because it also had how much money they had, what their annual budget was per year and everything else. Then it dawned on us that, hey, we could go out to some of these trade sites and we would actually turn around to them and say, hey, listen, you know what? Could we write an article about SEO for your specific industry? We would actually already have the article up because it was almost the same type of article that we would write for every other industry. We would just tweak it out a little bit.
It'd be like the Widget Association of America.
Right.
We'd go and write an article about proper SEO practices for widget companies.
And it actually did two things for us, right? One was that we got a great backlink, all right? We just, for more information and they had zero problem putting that on their site, okay, with the link back. So, hey, we got some serious hardcore link juice.
Yep.
Better link juice than you can find anywhere else. Better than a private blog network. Better than anything. It worked better than anything, okay? But the other thing was that it gave you direct exposure to usually, once again, it was getting past the gatekeeper right into the owner of the business was the one going to the association website or getting the email saying, hey, listen, you know what, we had a new post on Metal Workers Association of America or whatever else. And once again, if you actually spoke about in your blog post about the SEO for that particular trade or that particular industry, you now just grabbed yourself authority and trust. All right? And they would love to have you because of the fact that it costs them nothing.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a hardcore, great article. Make sure that, or pay somebody to write the article for you, for God's sakes,
Yeah.
You get one article written and you could tweak it out a billion different ways for different industries and everything else.
Yeah, Frank's going, fuck, here come 40,000 articles from every fucking fool listening. Well, yeah, you guys probably haven't heard this before. If I'm right, say something in the box. This isn't something people usually talk about. This is kind of a novel idea here. Yep, exactly. Alrighty.
All right, so.
Something. There we go. Great stuff.
Okay, so speaking of conferences, and as you guys know, I like to speak quite a bit sometimes. My wife tells me to shut up all the time, so does Jake sometimes. But regardless.
Your wife tells me to shut up.
Okay, so.
I'd make a joke, but we're business partners.
So speaking of conferences, now if you're going to go ahead and you're going to speak at conferences, don't speak at SEO conferences. And when we're talking about conferences, it doesn't need to be some big-ass, huge conference, okay? It could be, like, for instance, lawyers have these CE credits, so do real estate agents have these CE credits. You can actually speak at one of those little quasi-conferences, like a one-dayer, okay? You can jump, hold on one second, okay. You can jump on, and there's tons of different conferences. What I would do is I would actually, you find out where conferences are held from you locally. So let's say I'm willing to travel a half hour, okay? And I would actually sign up. So for us, like, we'd look at the Jacob Javits Center down in the city. We'd look at other things. And they have different trade shows coming in all the time. What we do is we'd actually contact them. They have the full schedule of when they're coming in. We even have different hotels around here that have conference centers. And what we'll actually do is as soon as we see that conference hit the schedule, which is usually almost a year out, we'll actually contact them and say, listen, we'd like to speak at your conference at no cost in reference to search engine optimization, how these people can get more leads via the internet. And like I said, as long as they're not SEO conferences, people look at it and go, wow, dude, that's great. Yeah, I'd love to have you.
Yep.
Okay, so you're going to have to put together, once again, a 20-minute, 30-minute presentation. And you know what? I can actually create a training on how to do a 20-minute, 30-minute presentation, even though I can't do a 20-minute, 30-minute presentation. We can actually put it together for you guys.
Yep.
Okay?
Now, Artie, some people are asking, who is this guy who's making millions at conferences? Was that last comment from Dan Kennedy? Actually, Artie Mercer is quite an established person. I've had the pleasure of talking with him on the phone for quite some time. We talked for probably about an hour and a half, our first conversation. He actually sent me some tea that we discussed. I think we had a great conversation. But he's an experienced presenter. Not only that, he's an SEO guy and an author. He knows what he's talking about. And
for those of you that aren't following, R.D. Mercer is actually he's a member of Seme. You'll actually see him on Seme. We're not talking about somebody who's out of the realm of, this is one of the guys who's a member here.
Yep, but he's saying he has no problem paying even 10 grand to speak somewhere because he knows he's going to close 4 times that, like $40,000 easily from that one event. So it's, if there's a big event going on where you have to pay, you got to make sure it's worth your time. But, if it's a fucking local business meeting, if it's your,
Yeah, and honestly, do yourself a favor. Don't sign up to speak at a conference until you've done a whole bunch of smaller ones that you can fall on your face with.
Yeah.
Because once again, it's all about getting your style down. Do it a couple of times, before you decide that you want to sign up at a conference. Get up in front of these people and be like,
Yeah, that would have been like if Andrew and I, first time talking in front of a huge crowd was our launch party webinar with 500 people watching. I've had experience being in front of crowds that large. I don't know if you have.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if that was our first time doing it, we would have sat here dumbfounded like, oh, crap, we got all these people watching us in real time. So make sure you're prepared.
Once again, you want to start capturing some of these leads. R.D. Mercer is actually talking to us right now on the chat, and he's saying, he'll write an ebook on the subject. And what you do is you can tell all these people, hey, listen, you know what? Go to my website and download the free ebook. You just captured all those leads for everybody that was sitting there that was listening to you, okay? Really, absolutely gigantic, okay? But once again, it's about thinking outside the box. If you want to do SEO, try not to sell to SEOs. It's one of the hardest freaking sells that you can do. I mean, I remember other people that were saying, hey, you can sell SEO services to SEO companies. Just call them up and you can rent links and you can do this. And they were like, what the F are you talking about? Who are you? We're not going to. If you speak to somebody outside of the realm, automatically you have authority. So, just take that for what it is.
Like, for you non-programmers out there, when I talk about programming, I could probably be saying anything and you guys could eat it all up. Just because you don't have the same skill set that I do, so you're going to default back to me, in my opinion and my judgment, as factual, correct, and trustworthy. So it's the same exact thing on the flip side. When you're going and approaching these local businesses and local business owners, and you're talking this completely different language, no matter how simple you make it, you're the authority here. You're the one who's getting the trust factor. All right.
All right. So
my clients have told me we love talking to you about this stuff. Yeah, that they do, just like you guys love talking to us about this stuff. It's the same exact thing. You're here to gain knowledge, to learn, and to grow your business. The same as when you go and approach your clients down the line. You're not going to any one client and trying to pitch them a service so that their core business could get smaller. They're trying to increase their business just the same as you are. So that's all.
All right. So step 8, client retention. All right. You have to understand in SEO that SEO clients have a lifespan, okay? That lifespan could end either very quickly or it could be, prolonged, all right? A lot of times an algorithmic update ends a lifespan with the client because they go, oh, now I'm at number 12, you don't know what you're doing, or now I'm wherever, you don't know what you're doing. That's why when you're educating them at the beginning, they understand that these algorithmic updates are going to happen, okay? It makes it a lot easier to explain, hey, remember when I was telling you about this? Well, it just happened, okay? That's huge, all right? So client retention. Most important thing is communication. I can't even tell you how many people that are involved in SEO don't communicate with their clients. They get an SEO client and they just think, hey, I'm ranking. They should see the amount of people come. Well, if they don't hear from you, believe it or not, they don't think that you're worth anything, all right? You can use SurveyMonkey, Wufoo, send out updates, automate this, automate sending out the updates, okay? Get them on a mailing list, a small little mailing list. You can get on like MailChimp for nothing, right? If it's under 50 people or something like that. Do they still have that? I think they do. MailChimp?
Oh, yeah, you get
under
free.
50? Yeah, for free. All right? The more communications you have with a client, the better you'll be. Now, that doesn't mean to pester the crap out of them. They have a business to run, okay? But have constant communication with them. Ask them, and don't be afraid to ask them. Are you happy with the level of service that you're receiving? Ask them how things could be improved. Ask them what they like the best about your service, all right? These are things that are not only going to improve your relationships with them, it's going to improve your relationships with future customers, okay? It's your learning curve, and now you have people that will actually teach you how to tweak and modify your own business. At the same time, making them extremely happy that you're concerned about what their experience is with you, all right? For the love of God, call them, okay? Pick up the phone and give them a call. It doesn't need to be all the time. Give them a call once every 2 weeks, once a month. Hey, listen, just wanted to check in. Do you have any questions? Is there anything that, you're confused about? Just wanted to touch base with you. 9 times out of 10, as long as you're in constant communication with them, they're like, no, man, everything is good. Unless things on the SEO side are not going well.
Yep, which brings us back to the very first, before we even got the clients, make sure that you could deliver what you promised.
Right. All right, send out a weekly or bi-weekly status report, all right? And usually you'll set that up with them at the very beginning as far as what they want, okay? The more they hear from you, the more likely they're going to feel like their money is pretty well spent with you, okay? They understand that you're now working for them. You're not just somebody who's like working in a back room and oh yeah, you tell us that you're working, but how do we know? The more you stay in contact with them, the more that they really truly feel like their money is well spent.
Yep.
Okay? What do we send to what do we
report to our clients? Well, it all depends on which services they sign up for.
Absolutely.
If they're signing up for an organic SEO service, where we're doing on-page SEO and off-site SEO and doing their backlinking profiles and utilizing our PVNs.
We'll tell them what we did on-site. We'll give them, we'll give them ranking reports. We'll give them, we'll actually go into analytics, pull out if there's organic funnels, how much organic traffic has been pushed to their site. Yep. We'll do stuff like that. So it all really depends.
Yeah. On a landlord-style site, we don't do that. We go based off of the impressions. And the exposure. And
for reputation management, we'll actually take screenshots once a week and send them out, or once every 2 weeks, depending on how hard we think it's going to be. If we think if this is going to take a while, then every week we're not going to send it to them. We'll send it to them every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and the final service, we do reports on that as well, but they know on their end if it's working or not. All right.
All right. So moving forward, step 9. Don't stop giving. All right, don't be afraid to help people. All right, that doesn't mean to do their SEO for free, but don't be afraid to help them out. As I was saying before, I gave my card out all the time and say, listen, if you have any questions or you have any problems, give me a call.
I'm a moderator on our WordPress on Reddit.com. You don't know how many times I've helped people with their coding or they'll paste a little snippet of code and be like, why doesn't this work on my WordPress site? So I'll go in and I'll fix it for them. But it's just given me authority, and I've had people come back through Reddit and ask me, can I dev this? Or, not I, but can you, Jake, build this out for me? Simply because I helped somebody in the past, and it was on public record. Helping people is key, guys, and it's only going to come back to, it can't come back to hurt you. It can only come back to help you. So, did you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I did. There's a whole section that that originally I was going to put in, and I decided we're actually going to do it as a separate training. But I'll get to that in a minute. Once again, I found that, by helping people out, it gets paid 10 times fold, okay? Don't be afraid to help out people. Don't be afraid if somebody has a question. I mean, I had a member the other night that was going through an issue, and it was like, hey, listen, man, I see that you're struggling. Let's jump in there and let's try and figure this out for you. And we did. And it had really nothing to do with our software at all, but they were just having an issue. Fine, let's figure out the problem for you.
I think it was a DNS issue.
It was a DNS issue.
Yeah.
So, and that was I was actually down in Orlando hanging out by the pool, and we jumped on the phone, and it was great. It was actually the best SEO conversation I've had in a while by a pool in Orlando. It was great. All right, so let's continue forward. All right. Step 10, it's a rinse, repeat, and scale model, okay? Now, there was a slide that I wanted to put in there, but I didn't, because I really thought that slide deserves its own. It's not really running an SEO business, okay? It's really about running any business, but it's about systemizing a business. And maybe I should have put it in and just talked about systemizing a business, but it would take up too much time to be part of this, So it kind of really needs its own little training and everything else, okay? Now, you know, it's all about designing your system, okay? I'm just going to talk about it real fast, if that's okay. So it's all about designing the system, okay? Once you know what you want to offer somebody, okay, once you know that you can offer them, you've got to start to create a system, all right? And this is where most SEO businesses fail, and most businesses in all fail. I mean, 80 businesses within the first year are out of business, and then 80% of those businesses that are left within 5 years are out of business. And the reason is because they don't set up a system that works. They don't set up a system that's scalable. Okay, I don't know if I read the book The E-Myth a long time ago, and it kind of changed my whole perspective on business and how I do things. And I'm sure a bunch of you guys out there as well, have also read the book. But to every single business, there's three aspects, okay? You have the entrepreneur, you have the manager, and you have the technician. The entrepreneur is the daydreamer that says, this is where this business needs to go. We need to keep moving. We need to try this angle, and I think most of us probably have that spirit within us. Then the next section is actually the next part of a business is a manager. And I realized that I used to be a great manager, and now I realize I suck as a manager. And I have to
from the beginning. I can't even manage myself.
And I have to hire a good manager. Okay, for every single one of my businesses, I had to hire a really good manager. Like for one of my offline businesses, I have the greatest manager of all time. Everything has to be in its place. Everything has to be, I like to screw with him every once in a while. I'll take the stapler and I'll turn it slightly, and while he's talking to me, he'll look at me and he'll turn it right back. Like it needs to be, but like that is what a manager needs to be. Not only that, but like this was a guy who ran a multi-million-dollar company for himself also, so he understands the whole entrepreneur aspect as well. But he is the world's best manager. He keeps everything has to have a place, okay? And unfortunately, I've lost that trait in myself, okay?
Become more entrepreneurial.
And the last is the technician. That's the guy who actually does the work, all right? And that technician is constantly fighting with the manager, and he's constantly fighting with the entrepreneur. He knows how to do things. He knows how it works. He thinks the entrepreneur is out of his mind because he's constantly daydreaming, and he knows how to do it. The manager thinks that the entrepreneur is an ass because he's constantly changing things on how the manager needs to do it. The manager needs everything to have its little place. And the technician, the entrepreneur thinks that the technician, he needs to be more flexible. He needs to work, and be able to push things out faster and be able to do the things that he needs to get done. And they all fight with one another all day long. But what happens is when you start your own business,
you're all three.
You're all three.
You're fighting with yourself.
You absolutely are fighting with yourself. So what you need to do is you need to replace those. And unfortunately, if you own your own business, you can't replace the entrepreneur. But believe it or not, Google did. Google actually took the CEO position, if you will, but they didn't really remove the entrepreneur spirit out of the company. Okay, but it's really hard to remove the entrepreneur. Okay, it's pretty easy to hire a good manager, and it's pretty easy to hire a technician. And I'm not saying that every technician is the same. I mean, you need to hire the right person for the right job, but you're constantly fighting with one another. All right, so you've got to create a system, and how you do things and how we've run our SEO business is that we learned how to do whatever we're going to do. So if it was the landlord sites, okay, we learned how to create a landlord site. Then what we did was we had VAs, and I promised you guys in a chat the other day that I'm going to be doing a training on how to hire VAs and what the VAs should be used for and everything else. All right, but what we do with those VAs is we show them parts of our soft system, so we know exactly how to do all aspects of it, and we can tweak those little parts any single time we want. We use our virtual assistants to go in there and start handling sections of each one of those portions of that whole service, all right? And then what we do is then Jake goes in there and then Jake programs it so it's automated, all right? And that's how we know that we can scale our business. But once again, that conversation is really a much larger conversation.
That was condensed down to like 4 minutes.
Right, but that's a huge conversation, okay? But the point is, once you get yourself into a groove or the what the hell works, okay, then you can go back and you can look at your goals again that we were talking about in the planning phase, and did you reach them, okay? Now, for instance, Jake and I, we very rarely do anything for less than about $2,500 a month on the client end, okay? So we know that we're going to be able to scale at a certain length, at a certain time period, all right? But A $2,000 a month client, I only need 4.5 clients, really 4.5 clients, and I reach 100K a year, okay? Doesn't take that much. But we also understand that there's going to be, a client that might not want to stick around. So we kind of constantly be bringing new clients into the mix. That's how we were able to build ourselves to 7 figures, all right? Very simple.
It's even less when you think about it.
It is actually less.
It is less. It's like 4.25 clients, really.
Right. So what we actually do is we look at this and we go, okay, you know what? If we were able to push out, so for instance, if we had a client and we just knew that, all right, you know what, a domination for them, it's going to be at $5,000 a month. We're going to do, it's a really tough niche, or it's $7,000 a month, or it's $10,000 a month, or it's $15,000 a month. But we're looking at it from the aspect of $2,000 per month because that's a very reachable goal, or even $1,000 per client per month, okay, which is only 9 clients. So what it comes down to is if you're able to rinse and repeat it, then all you're doing is now going out and looking for new clients. And if you already have clients, getting them to get you the referrals, once again, it grows your business exponentially, really, really, really fast, all right? The whole point with owning the SEO business is that you're not allowed to have your head in the weeds. You can't be worrying about every single little aspect. You've got to be worrying about growing your business, okay? And you have to, unfortunately, take that step and say, there are certain things that I need to get off my plate. And that's what we do with VAs and with technology, all right? The rank and rent model, okay, it's a very, very simple process. What happens is, we'll go out and we'll build the site, and then we'll actually, once again, once we know sort of the people that we're targeting, then we'll go out and we'll actually build one site, and we'll go out and we'll start targeting that market pretty hard. We'll have a sales guy actually go out and just hit that market pretty hard. All the sales guy's looking to do is get somebody on the phone that we can speak to. That's all they're looking to do. Outside of that, what we'll do is, like I said, if we speak at a conference or whatever else, if we know that we're going to a trade conference and we know that it's about, the toy industry or whatever else, okay, we'll actually create a couple of landlord sites before we even go out there, and we'll plug in a couple of key people that we would like to hit at that conference that we know are going to be there, and we'll actually show that in the demo. Hey, look, you know what? Hasbro just happens to be here, or whatever the case may be. All right. So that that rank and rent model is so powerful to be able to close. It's so powerful to be able to use within your service offerings. But it's not the only thing that we offer. We do actually offer, SEOing their regular sites, and like I said, that one other thing that we don't discuss. But at the end of the day, that fits right into the entire package that we're looking to do. And once again, we know that we have a rinse and repeat and a scalable model. All right. We know about how much that we can handle before, we've reached maximum capacity, and we're not even anywhere close to it. So, with that being said, guys, we're going to open up the floor to questions. And a blank screen. And a blank screen, and then questions. So we actually haven't lost anybody at all.
During the entire time. It's fluctuated. It's gone up and down about 5, but it's probably people dropping out from poor internet connections, or they're on a mobile device or something. But yeah, no, we've kept everybody. Are you guys still talking? Yeah, that we are. Frank. All right, are there any serious questions now? You guys rock. Thanks. Appreciate it. When will the recording be up? Missed the first 45 minutes. We'll try to have it up as quickly as possible.
It takes a little while to render out. So.
Yeah, from the GoToWebinar process, I have to go and convert it over. Actually, it's not really the conversion. It's just me going back in and then putting in the pre. Yeah, I got some motorcycles outside today. But it's just it's me going in and putting in the preloader, Seme training sort of promo video, and then the video at the end, and re-rendering it all out. All
right, Adrian, yes, we appreciate it. We always appreciate the compliment. It's been extremely thorough and simple to implement. Are these presentations usually phone or live? The answer to that, Nick, is actually both. We like to do live. If we have to do phone, then we'll go through like a join.me and do it out that way.
Are you building a site
Running
for a
a-
niche, or do you build a ton of SS sites on one domain, or you to build more? Oh no, there's only one site per domain. We've tried subdomains and subdirectories, but we really find that having an individual domain works the best.
Okay, running a rank rental site to offer to clients. How often do you need to
Add new pages to your site. We sort of set it and forget it, and then rebuild out a new site if that one dies down. We haven't really played too much with the drip feed systems, although it's been something we've been talking about implementing. Again, it's when you have a site with 30,000 posts and 300,000 pages in total, dropping in an extra 10 pages is not going to do jack for you.
Next question. Are you guys using PBNs
For your rental sites.
for rental sites? No, we actually use our PBNs for the money site. We
Yeah.
actually use our PBNs to actually rank their money site. Once again, if there are some people that they're having issues with some of the landlord style sites that they've put out, that they've tried to build through Shaker and stuff like that.
Shaker sites and whatnot. And that's,
Once again, a lot of it happens to be the niche that they choose. A lot of it happens to also be maybe some of the
page SEO.
the on-page SEO. But no, we don't. We've been able to rank in some pretty decent niches without any, in some decent areas without any backlinks at all.
Do we have training docs for our outsourcers? We do, but they're very specific for our back end. If there's stuff you would like to see for your BAs and whatnot, create a forum post and we'll go and tailor what we have already worked up for you.
Absolutely. Question about building a site for a niche. Do you build a ton of...
Oh, no, I already answered that one.
Okay, you already did.
All right.
Thanks, guys. See you next week. Is there separate training for setting up the SLL sites? Well, we provide that as a service. We're actually going to be reopening up Landlord. When?
When? That's a very good question. Well, we have that alpha test coming up, or really the beta test. I alpha tested it myself. It's the beta test of the new code. We've gotten a bunch of people in the forum, not the forums, in support chat. We're actually filled already, our queue, so we're going to be reaching out to those guys probably, I guess, this week sometime, and figuring out, who was actually serious when they said they wanted a beta test and move forward from there. So that's probably going to be launching this week, and then next week we open up for those 30 people that want to get in.
Yep, absolutely. How do we determine we do have some training as far as the SLL sites. It was also the Surf Domination would be the closest to that we have right now. How do we determine a fair price to approach a client with? Do your prices vary per client? Yes. Well, our pricing completely varies based on the niche, based on how much work we think we need to get done in order for us to be able to accomplish what we've told our client we're going to accomplish.
But also the capacity of the client themselves. If it's a business that grosses $2 million, we're not going to quote them the same as a business that only grosses $200,000.
Okay, Ben is saying, you can send in a support ticket if you want
To get on the
to get us on the SLL beta
pre-launch list. Okay.
pre-launch.
Just send it straight through to me.
Yeah, just send it straight through the help.semeasy.com if you want to get in that queue, and we're going to be sending out those emails or contacting the members this week.
All right. So what we do is, like I said, it all depends on the niche. Like, for instance, if it's underwater basket weavers, we know that's going to be a lot easier than somebody who's looking to rank for the word diamonds.
Yep.
Like the jewelry industry or whatever the case may be. It's completely, it all changes. Basically, what we do is we try and figure out. We would look at a lot of things. We look at pay-per-click. We look at a bunch of different things. Try and figure out where we think they would be comfortable. And then we double and triple it.
Yeah.
Well, we don't really double and triple it. We look at how much it would cost for us to really effectively get done what needs to get done, and then we double and triple it.
Yep. When is your SS coming out, and what elements have you improved on? All of them. And what elements have we implemented? All of them. We got cPanel APIs, we got Enum, Namecheap APIs, we got the Content Authority APIs. We're working on JV Zoo's new API for being able to pull up your product pages. We got tons and tons of stuff going on. Spin Rewriter APIs tied in.
And it's been simplified, which is the biggest thing about our replacement. It's all simplified.
All right. So with that, did you guys find out
if we get a SerpShaker? They're not offering discounts for Seme members.
Yeah, I mean, SerpShaker is its own entity. It's just that we've worked with Don and we like Don, so we told people, look, you know what, go do it.
You want to replicate our sites? This is one way to do it.
Yeah. Previously said you build 2 pages for a state and only 1 for national. Do you build both state pages at the? Yes.
Yep.
Yep, we do.
What's up with the double agent issues? Is there an update? Yeah, we're releasing an update. Essentially, a lot of people with their ClickBank and whatever, they don't like being redirected to by a 302, and I should have expected that because I've seen it in the past. So I'm going to have to add in an option for those experiencing the white page issue to just turn off the 302 redirection, and if it was working before, then just keep it turned off. That's all.
At one point,
building out our sites using SerpShaker. Do we need to get our own server? You either need a very powerful local machine, and you could build them locally and then export them out, or you could build them on like a VPS and host them on that, or a dedicated box. What's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce, honestly, is being able to provide a service and being able to find where you can provide that service, finding the people that you can provide that service to. If that's what you're talking about, if you're talking about the secret sauce of how to build a landlord sites, that would be like asking Heinz what their recipe is.
Frank, I said I have a dock for my back end, not a dick.
Okay, I'm new and a little confused. Is there a SERP landlord rental site, or is
the site, or is your custom built? I don't understand that question.
No, we build out each landlord site custom to the keywords that you give us. I think that's what the question is.
The secret sauce.
Secret sauce. They're ranking without links.
It's content plus authority equals content plus relevancy plus authority equals rankings.
Yeah, but I would even go to on-page plus schema plus proper site structure equals rankings.
It's silo plus schema plus content, and that equals rankings.
Also proper keyword research.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely have to cover niche selection. That's a must.
Do you use Infinite WP or something similar to manage all the WP sites in one place? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Opening landlord. I'm so there. How do I sign up for the beta or whatever? Just send in a support ticket to help.semeasy.com saying that you're interested in getting on that beta tester phase. If you change the code on SLL sites, will it be retroactive? The code, no, it's not going to go and rebuild out on the old sites. But if we ever release an update for the SEM plugin, or we release an update for Double Agent, then yes, that change will be placed retroactively on all existing SLL sites.
All right. In the beginning, you guys spoke more on training, generating leads for SLL sites. Is that something that's still in the works?
Doing more training on generating leads for SLL sites.
Right.
Is that something that still works? I'm not 100% clear on the question there.
If you're talking about sales training, yeah, I mean, we can definitely do more sales training. That's definitely not an issue.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Thanks. Let's see. I would have liked to test beta, but didn't feel like it offer enough from a technical standpoint. That's absolutely okay if you're a little apprehensive. I completely understand that, being the programmer myself here. But with that said, we need people from all walks of life, because if somebody with a technical mind, if we only have people with technical minds, and then we have some issue that they could figure out, but that because you don't have a technical mind, it completely floors you. We need to know about that so we can fix it before releasing it.
Absolutely. You guys have a good state list. I have one that is like 30K. What is the formula to build 300,000? It's called tag pages.
Yeah, tag pages. That's simple. Would you do a training on SEO contracts and what you need to have in them? Absolutely, that's a great idea.
You know what, Ben?
Ben, you want to write this down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, take this down. SEO training ideas.
Yeah.
All right. One of them is going to be lead generation.
Like sales for lead generation?
Yep, sales and lead gen. Another one's going to be contracts and operating agreements.
Okay.
And we'll keep this list going as more questions come in. But we're backlogged here 4 minutes. We're looking at questions from 3:44. It's now 3:48. So if we haven't answered your question yet,
I'm in the UK dealing with a load of dental clients. Will your service work for UK sites?
Yes, the updated service will be working for UK sites. Awesome training as always. Thank you. We appreciate that. What about the 301 link juice issue then?
Well, it's one of those. If the 302 is going to give you a blank white page, then
you don't really have a choice. Plus, if it's a click bank, then you're not worried about the negative impact of the 301 redirect passing the link juice through anyway.
Or you can use T.co, which is Twitter.
Yeah.
That doesn't at least last check, it didn't push through a 301. Unfortunately,
if you're using a 302 redirect service, then you're going to have the same exact issue that you're facing in the first place, where your clickbank is just going to show up as blank. So if it's not for a money site, then you really don't need to worry about it anyway. And putting it in there, the 302 redirect was just extra padding. For somebody made a very good analogy. They were like, Jake's just putting padding on the corners of the dining room table, I'm just making sure you guys don't gash your heads open, but if you're being safe, then you don't need to worry. You're not running around the kitchen with a knife. You don't need to worry anyway.
Don't run with scissors.
Don't run with scissors, exactly.
I have a BS, but my crap out. Do I need a dedicated box? It all depends.
Yeah, if your VPS is crapping out on you, it could be for a number of reasons. It could be a lower quality VPS. Your server company might not actually be giving you what you're paying for, or you're building too many sites at once and your system can't handle it. So you might need a dedicated box, or you might be better off building them locally.
All the stuff you guys teach is involved in good ranking.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How would you use Schema for a taxi site, as the plugins seem to concentrate on products and reviews? No, there's a location. What I would do is I might put the taxi headquarter location right in that, on a taxi site. They have one for a location. There may be one for exactly for taxi.
There's local business. There's business reviews.
Yeah, but even on the local business, it drills down into different types of businesses.
There might be a taxi
I don't know.
company already in there.
Yeah, so I would just double check that.
Is there any plans to add currency symbol option for double agent? It's already been added. The only thing that needs to be fixed insofar as currency symbol logic is removing the price from the description in PayPal, because that still always passes through the dollar symbol. Not the actual price in PayPal, but in the description for the object for the item or the page being purchased.
Yes, it's being worked out.
But in the leasing banner and in the description, it does show the proper symbol based off of the setting you choose on your payment setting page on PayPal.
Okay.
Beta testers have to pay, right? Yeah, of course. I mean, we're lowering the price, but it's not going to be a free beta test. I mean, we're not going to be ridiculous. Let's see. When or where would we be able to find the PowerPoint slides? They'll probably be in the document cache.
Yeah, I have to upload all of them.
Yeah, or in a forum post. We'll figure it out.
Or maybe I'll embed them right underneath each one of the pages.
Yep.
Okay.
For the best is the email help@semeasy.freshdesk.com. I believe you can send an email to help@semeasy.com, and that will open up the support ticket for you as well.
So the question, when plugins are updated, do they affect the existing settings, i.e. clients already paying via double agent?
Nope, they're not going to overwrite your the settings you already put in. So if you don't need to be afraid about updating and then losing all your subscribers and whatnot, because it doesn't overwrite.
Spamming?
Spamming. Not quite sure what that means.
Someone said adding too many tags were spamming.
Oh, so well, I mean, you could potentially run into the issue of dupe content and whatnot, but if you're doing it properly, you won't need to worry about that.
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay, we answered that question. Nope, we're catching up. Now we're at 3:50, so we're only 2 minutes behind. Thanks, guys. I got a split. I've not been spending much time on the site, but I realize I will be making time this week to catch. Thank you. Do we have an ETA on the DA302 update? I was planning on having it out today. This webinar went for 2 hours. I was only expecting it to be an hour. But again, I still have that planned on being done today. If not, it would be tomorrow. But again, I want to stay true and have it done today.
What software do you suggest to deploy a WP?
So
We don't.
That is built locally on a desktop. Yeah, I mean, there's a few out there like WP Clone and whatnot, but they're not the prettiest, and they're a pain. But there's been plenty of discussion in the forums about tools that you guys could use. I've had to close 150 clicks so far today on my SLL site. That's awesome.
No, he had closed yet.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick, and Nick, I was away for a week, so I want to touch base, but I know that you were having an issue with one of your sites, but I think we turned that all around, so we'll see. Peter, we got yours. It was like silly question here.
Yeah,
Peter, we got that one. We got that one.
SS doesn't allow you to build then append. Will you be offering this? Yes, we will.
How would you be doing the tagging?
Nick's going, yep, the SLL sites have definitely picked up traffic-wise. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. How would you do tagging correctly to avoid the dupe content like you just mentioned? Having a high-quality article that's spun out well is probably the very first step. The second
step is make sure that the keywords that you're using for your tags are actually LSIs, and not like exact match modifiers. So, for instance, if you were going for, let's say, cosmetic dentist, which is a niche that I always can't stand. But anyway, so let's say we're going to go after cosmetic dentist. You don't want to do best cosmetic dentist, best cosmetic dentistry, awesome cosmetic dentist. Cheap cosmetic dentist. No, that's going to get you smacked all over the place.
You want to go for teeth whitening.
Pediatric dentist surgeon. There's all sorts of different things that you can go after that are related, that the keywords are not, freaking spam, that are actually LSIs.
Yep. Is it possible to reverse double index assault videos? Yes, you could turn the videos off if that's what the question is. You can turn the videos off. You just go to the I think it's the war room or whatever, the battle war room. It's the war room page, or the one that's all the way at the end. You just go there and you click. If the video display videos icon is green, if it says display video on or video display on, click it till it's red just once, and it'll turn off the video display. Can you remove just one? Yes, absolutely. What you do is you go to the page or the post that you want to edit, click on edit page, so you edit post, so it brings you to the back end. Then if you don't see the meta keys and variables, or the meta, if you don't see the meta options, you're gonna want to scroll up to the top of the page, and in the top right corner there'll be a little thing that says screen options. You click that, it'll drop down a series of checkboxes. You're gonna want to click check or make sure the box is checked off for meta variables or whatever they call it. Then you're going to want to scroll down on your page again. Below the content editor box, there will be a new screen, which you might not have seen before. And on the left side, it'll have a key, which is like your index. And then on the right side, it'll have like what the data stored for that specific key is. You're going to look for the key called IA page data. And right below that, there'll be a little button, or there'll be two buttons actually. One of them that says update and one of them that says delete. Click the delete button, and your video will no longer show up on the page. Let's see, Darren's saying, I bought so much crap, plugins, etc. that almost always do what I dream about but always fall short. You guys build the stuff I dream about. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. That's, it's the reason we do this is, we're not making money here on SemEasy. We're actually, it's self-sustainable now. It actually is making a little bit of money, but we're not releasing these products and making like $300,000, $400,000 on each one of these little plugins, which we very well could have. Andrew and I have discussed it before. We could have turned around and done a JVZoo launch of Index Assault and a JVZoo launch of Double Agent and whatnot, but we opted not to. We wanted to provide them we wanted to build a community and provide this for our community. Let's see.
Okay, as much as I love these types of trainings, there are more of a bird's eye view of business. View on how you guys run your business. Would you be willing to do a more in-depth Webby on the exact steps you take if you were running a rank and rent model? Yeah, I mean, I guess we could, but I mean, basically what we do is
we build it.
we build it, and then we go out and we sell it. I mean, it's
I don't know if we could dedicate an entire webinar to just that.
I mean, basically what we do is we don't try and rent out individual pages. We don't think that leasing bar, which we were the ones that created originally, we don't give that
much credence. It works every now and then. We'll be like, holy shit, somebody actually signed up.
Like, like it's more of a surprise than anything else.
But for the most part, we actually go out and we do exactly what we told you. We go out, we do a lot of teaching, we do a lot of networking, we do a lot of talking, you know, and then we do a lot. We know that by getting 10 new clients through the door, or even 5 new clients, that's going to turn into 10.
Yep.
Okay, we just know it because of the fact that how we set up our referral systems.
Yep.
A calendar of releases that are coming would be nice. Yeah, we should do that. That's a good idea. You want to write that down, Ben?
Yeah, what?
Calendar of releases of upcoming software and services.
Okay.
What else?
Andrew, we need to talk about the email thing. Okay, not a problem. I was away for a week. We'll definitely talk. Let's schedule something out for Monday.
Darren, go ahead. I also love your guys' integrity. It's so rare. Again, we appreciate it. Let's see, Gilbert saying, is there an easy automated way to transfer an LL site from a VPS to another hosting provider to preserve site building resources?
cPanel, maybe?
Yeah, if you want to, you could do transfer your reseller account straight through cPanel. What it'll do is you log into WHM of one VPS, the one that you want to pull the stuff into, and then you just go, you could type it on the left side, you know, transfer account or import account from another cPanel, another WHM. You go in, you put in the cPanel username and password, or if you're pulling in multiple reseller accounts, you can put in the WHM root username and password. It'll go, it communicates with the API for WHM on the original host. It packages up the entire site, backs it up into a tarball, transfers the entire site over to the new WHM that you're logged into, extracts the tarball, rebuilds the reseller package, and now you have it in both places. You got to go now to your name servers and have those be pointed over to the new box. So wherever you registered it, if you already pointed it up to Cloudflare, then it's really simple. You just log into Cloudflare and you change the IP address over to the new box. But if you have it set up like through Namecheap or something and you haven't set up Cloudflare integration, you're going to have to go to Namecheap or GoDaddy or whatever domain registrar you used and change your name servers there.
Okay. Yes, we are in the middle of a freeway. We're in New York, so we get a lot of traffic coming through here.
That we do.
Yeah, so, and you know what? Jake and I also decided that we wanted to sit right up by the windows so we could actually get a view of what's going on in life.
Well, it's funny. We have the blinds down all the time.
Probably people have to walk by and go, what the hell? Okay.
Let's see.
Andrew, you said a few weeks ago about not checking a site with site colon. No, Darren, what I meant was that we were having people that were checking it like 40 times a day, 30 times a day. Or check it once every couple of days just to see what's going on.
Then you're fine.
Then you're fine. But if you're checking it on like, you know, we have people that just sit there and like at the very beginning, I know when we're indexing out sites, we'll check it a bunch of times because we just like to see it just freaking rocking in the index. But after that, we kind of just back off and we'll check it every couple of days, once a week at that point, once it kind of settles out. But after that, we don't really find the need to have to be checking them every single day.
Yep.
We think that it does definitely affect your site if you are checking it too often.
How are the short tutorial vids coming?
Yeah, they're coming.
They are coming.
They are coming. Should be coming out soon. I actually have a bunch of them written. I just haven't had a chance to record them.
You guys got to remember, Andrew was on vacation for a week. So.
No, vacation, business, a little bit of everything. Made a lot of money while I was away, so it was all good. When you rent the site, it is confusing for customers to call and be connected to a client
with a different business name.
When you rent the site, is it confusing for customers to call and be connected to a client with a different business name.
Well, they don't call us. It's the client's end site that's being displayed over our site that we rent out. So it's not like we're renting a phone number that comes back to our office. We're renting out the display of their website on top of ours. So the end user would never be calling us. They'd be contacting either through the contact form on our client's website, which is now being displayed, or through the information provided to get in contact with our client through their website. That's how they'd be. The end user would be contacting them. So no lead gen would go through our office here.
Yeah, the train hasn't come through today.
Yeah, it's surprising.
What is expected from me when I purchase an SSL site? Okay, so what is expected is that we try to make it as easy as pick a main keyword and 8 additional long-tail keyword, 8 additional related keywords. That's it.
Literally,
you gotta provide us 9 keywords.
You provide us with 9 little bits of information.
And we build out everything.
And we build out the site. 1 keyword, 8 LSIs, and everything else is taken care of for you. Oh, you also got, you tell us whether or not it's a state or a national site, but that comes in through PayPal, obviously.
When I check a site, I don't see too
Index, yeah, I do.
Well, make sure that there's not a space in between the site colon and your domain name.
Yep.
I don't know if you're doing that or not, but
when do the Seme t-shirts come out? Hey, if there's a demand for Seme t-shirts, you bet your ass I'll make some. We just start giving away as prizes and stuff too. If you want a Seme t-shirt, write something in the box right now.
Make your domain. Okay. There was a bunch of different.
Send mine. Yep. Awesome. All right, maybe we'll actually do like a cafe press or something if you really want a Seme t-shirt. If you got an order one.
Got it.
Tees, yeah. All right, add it to the list, Ben.
On individual pages, can you make your domain header menu display or not display in double agent?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if your main domain header, it's not supposed to be displayed. If it is displaying, then it's a theme issue. Some themes have custom code put into them, and they act more as plugins, and they're manipulating how the page is viewed. We did add in a little.
I am Seme.
Right on it. I am Seme.
Maybe we'll, get a girl laying the closet.
Actually, we're gonna put a forum post out. And you guys could go and comment on what the best caption for the back of the T-shirt will be, and then we'll put out a poll or something, and we'll have you guys vote on it. Or maybe we'll just pick the best one. I don't know. But anyway, getting back to this question here, your menu's being displayed on top of the lease page. It's not supposed to be happening. What's going on? Look into the custom CSS on the double agent settings, and that'll output that CSS onto any page. You're going to want to look for that element with the ID, the navigation, the nav ID, and you're going to want to set it as display none important. If that confuses you, open up a support ticket. I'd be more than happy to help you.
Well, Peter, in reference to Peter's asking, we want to see a demo for the landlord sites. Well, as soon as we're ready to open up landlord, we will definitely get those demos
we'll
out.
Put more demos out. Absolutely.
But right now, we're not going to put out demos of our client sites and stuff like that, and have people, either hammer the sites or whatever else. So, like I said, we'll get a couple of sites that we could just demo out for you guys. But I know that we have put ones out in the past. Let me optimize you. I am Seme. Let me optimize you.
I like that.
CC conversion previous.
CC that was previously installed. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to go into your database tables and rip some stuff out of there. Yeah, that's really the only fix I got for you there. Let's see what else. I think we're all caught up on questions.
I think we are. But you know what? I think we're going to cut it. We are 2 hours.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours here. Holy shit, we maintained a high number of you guys that stepped through here. We've lost about 30 over the past 20 minutes of Q&A.
Yep.
Yeah,
all right.
So, geez. Let me optimize you. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. But anyways, can you include the Q&A in the video? Yeah, we most always do. Probably will do that as well. But this time as well. But thanks, guys. Yep. Thank you for your praises. We love having you guys on. It wouldn't be nearly as fun if you guys weren't here. So having over 100 people on a webinar for over 2 hours is freaking awesome.
Hey, guys, do us a favor also. If there's any questions that you have, we get a lot of support tickets in reference to how do I do this or how do I do this, and they're not really support. We want to answer your questions, but we know that other people will probably have the same question. Head over to the forum, post it in there. Also, feel free, guys, jump on our Facebook page. I mean, a lot of you guys have liked it.
Yeah, for you 52 people that are still here, we're going to give away $15, or fuck it, we'll give away $20 to a random person. All you have to do to qualify for that is write a post on our wall, or write a post on a comment by the end of today.
Share our page.
Or share our page. Even better yet, share our page by the end of today to be eligible for $20. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to do, and that's just for you 51 people who are still who stuck around. So special.
Yeah,
special
no, actually, if you're watching the replay,
yeah, if you're
you can share it.
you can still share it, but you probably won't be eligible for the $20 this time. So just for you guys that stuck around, but share the page. You know, referrals, guys. We're incentivizing you to refer us, just like we taught you today. All right, Floyd looks like he needs to go out. Who got the car? Floyd looks like he needs to go out, so I'm going to give him a walk. It's been over 2 hours now, so we're going to share what page? Share the Seme